अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरते यौपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओमित्येतदक्षरमुद्गीतमुपासीत ओमिति ह्युद्गायते तस्योपव्याख्यानम् सोऽहं भगवः मन्त्रविदेवास्मि न आत्मवित् श्रुतं ह्येव मे भगवदृषेभ्यः तर्तिशोकमात्मविदिते सोऽहं भगवः शोचामि तं मा भगवान् शोकस्य पारं तारयत्विति तं होवाच यद्वै किञ्च एतदध्यगीष्ठाः नामैवैतत् सोऽहं भगवः मन्त्रविदेवस्मि न आत्मवित्. I, who is such, who is so well versed with the scriptures, so knowledgeable, mantravit eva asmi. I know mantra, I know the textual meaning, the grammatical meaning, the word meaning of the Vedas and all this text. Now Atmavit, but I do not know what those mantras really convey, what the tatparya is, what the purport is, and that is Atma. The self which is sought to be conveyed by those texts, that I do not know. Shrutam here me Bhagavad Rishebhyah. And I have heard from great sages like you, Tarti Shogam Atmavedati, the knower of the Atman crosses the grief, goes beyond the grief. Soham Bhagava Shochami. O revered sir, venerable sir, Shochami. I am grieving, I am full of grief. Tamma Bhagavan Shokasya Param Tarataviti. To me who is such, Bhagavan, the venerable sir, may please make me cross this ocean of grief. Make me reach the other shore of this ocean of grief. Tam Hovacha, to Narada, who appealed in this manner, Sanat Kumara said, Yadvaikincha etat adhyagishtaha. Hey Narada, whatever you have learned so far, Namayava etat, is nothing more than name, nothing more than word. Tasmat soham mantravit karvit evasmi. So mantravit is, one meaning was knower of just a text, textual meaning. And so, and second is that you are karmavit, Because the Vedas, the mantras convey both the karma as well as Atma. Both of them they convey. So how have you perceived the teaching of the scriptures? So Sayyid Narada says, my conclusion of the purport of the scriptural teaching is that the scriptures teach karma, the ritual, and that's all I know. And karma karyam sarvam vikara haiti. And karma karyam, what is the karyam? The phalam. Karmanam karyam sadhyam phalam vikara haiti. And whatever can be the outcome of karma is always vikara. Therefore, vikara haiti ma jnatam. So, maya sarvam vikara eva. And therefore, all I am is what? Vikaragnya eva hasmi. I am the knower of vikara. I am the knower of everything. That is subject to change or modification. That is the changeless substratum. I have not known that. All I have known is change. Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha. Nistraigurnyo Bhavarjuna. Vedas talk about both. Traigunya Vishayaha. As far as the Traigunya, the creation in the realm of the three gunas is concerned, that's also what Vedas teach, and that's karma and the karma phala. Nistraigurnyo Bhavarjuna. The Vedas also teach that which transcend the three gunas. That's the Atma that I have not known. So what I have known is within the scope of the three gunas, which is created, which is perishable, which is changing, and that's all I have known. So far, my understanding of the life is that life, the truth is changing, subject modification, perishable. Na Atmavit, but not Atmavit. Na Atma Prakriti Rupa Swarupajnyaha ityartha. But I have not known the Atma Prakriti Swarupajnyaha. The Jnana, the knower of the Swarupa, the true nature of the Atma, that I have not known. So Abhikara Atmadu Tattvato na jnataha. I have not known the Atma in the real sense, which is Abhikara, changeless. Vikarasya cha vinashitvena tasya shoka hetutvena tan nivartakatvam. And vikarasya vinashitvena, whatever is vikara, whatever is modification, is vinashi, is perishable. And tasya shoka hetutvena, it is a vikara, it is that which is perishable, which is what causes shoka or grief. So it is perishable that causes grief. Yad viditam tan alpam martyam dukkhatmakam heyam. Whatever is known, so that viditam also is the same viditam. So whatever is known as an object of knowledge, whatever can be objectified, is alpam, is always tucham, limited. In time, place, in attributes, dukkhatmakam, and therefore it is the cause of all dukkha. Again, it is not the martyam which causes dukkha, but from the martya I have the expectation of amaram. That's the problem. My expectation is, because that's what I am seeking. Basically, what every human being is seeking is immortality. Knowingly or unknowingly, each one of us seeking immortality. The permanent, the purna, the complete, that's what is the inherent desire in everybody's heart. And so that's what I expect. So that's what I expect this world to provide me. So from the vikara, which is vinash or perishable also, my expectation is to achieve the imperishable. It is that expectation which becomes failed, that's what causes grief. So, grief is caused by the disappointment that comes because of the failed expectation. Not that perishable causes grief, but my expectation of the imperishable from the perishable. But why do I expect? Because that's what I want. Only thing that I want in life is the imperishable. That's all I want. The immortal, that's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. Like Hanumanji looking for his Rama in those pearls. Breaks open each pearl, looks what is within. Is Rama there? Throw away. The Jivatma is just looking for Rama, for the immortal, for the imperishable, in every achievement. So karma karyam, karmanam karyam, sadhyam phalam. Through karma or through effort or action. So my interest in action is karmanam karyam phalam. So karma phalam, the outcome of the karma is of my interest. And from there I am seeking immortality. And that naturally I don't get, and that's what makes me feel frustrated, unsuccessful, a failure, and that's what causes grief. Meaning that whatever accomplishments are there, whatever achievements are there, are not able to in any way remove that sense of incompleteness, regardless of what I achieve. So neither the world can provide me the immortality, nor my achievements can provide me immortality. And therefore, tasya shoka hetutvena. So this very vikara, in a way, becomes the cause of grief. But not vikara, as I said, nothing can cause me grief. What causes me grief is the way I relate to things. What is the relation? What I expect from them. And therefore, natannivartakatvam, therefore vikara cannot remove the grief. Meaning vikara or modification of the perishable cannot give me what I am seeking, namely imperishable. And I am giving because I find myself perishable or incomplete. And therefore, the sense of incompleteness that causes the grief cannot be removed by what is incomplete in itself. Atayeva uktam acharyavan purusho vedayati. Therefore it is said acharyavan. When you are acharya, then you know the imperishable. Because Vedas reveal both. Trigunya, meaning what? Vedas reveal, as far as the word meaning is concerned, what is in the realm of three gunas. As far as what is implied is concerned, they also reveal what transcends the three gunas. So we require acharya who can help us to transcend these three gunas, to let go the three gunas, So ego and shoes are out. So ego is what? The three gunas. So the acharya helps us to let it go, which I am dearly holding on to, because I think that is my refuge, that is my protector. So I am holding on, dearly holding on to. And acharya makes me see how that is futile, how that what you are holding on to is what is causing you all the grief. And so, this teacher, it is not simply that he unfolds a different meaning, etc. That's all right. What the teacher does is enables me to drop. This holding on is an emotional problem, not an intellectual problem. So holding on to my ego is an emotional problem, born of ignorance. Teacher makes me see how that is causing grief. that understand that there is something over and above this ego. That's not the ultimate reality of life. That's not the reality about yourself. Never, but you have to let this go. The snake has to be let go on in order for you to know the rope. So that's what Acharya does. The Lakshya, Vachya, the Lakshya is all about, that's what it means, that one has to cross over simply this intellectual stuff or the emotional problems. Therefore, of course, Vedanta always talks about the logic and Vachyartha and Lakshyartha, etc., and then thinks that it is all done. So, Acharyopadarshita Nyayahi Lakshana eva Tattvataha Atmajnanam. So, sometimes in this totally intellectual approach that Vedanta presents, or the way Vedanta is presented to us, as a purely intellectual thing, which is perhaps alright for very, very evolved people who are not holding on to anything. So, supposedly all those emotional problems are solved in what is called Antahakana Shuddhi. So, when you have the Shama, Dama, mind is free from Raga, Dvesha, etc., then all emotional problems are gone. And thus to a person who is free from any emotional problems. Because Raga, Dvesha are emotional problems basically. Attachment to something, holding on to something, not letting go, not allowing the other things, all emotional problems, born of ego. Means sense of smallness, insecurity. Supposedly, Antahakana Shuddhi means this is all gone. One has already worked on that. So Vedanta doesn't work on that part. So Vedanta begins from there. But Vedanta is studied by people who have lots of problems anyway. Because the Antahakana Shuddhi is not addressed. There is something that fascinates us about Vedanta, so we go there. But a lot of work that needs to be done has not been done. And very often simply you feel that okay now, because intellectually so appealing that you feel that okay, it gives you satisfaction. But that thing of also becoming free from these emotional things. So Acharya does everything anyway. The reason why one has to go to a teacher is that there is an individual relationship there. So not only intellectual relationship but an emotional relationship also. Very important. And that's how the Krupa of the Acharya flows. It enables this disciple to be able to let go. So tatna mukhya vrityayati, meaning that it's not by mukhya vritti, not by the vachyartha, not by the literal meaning, it is what is sought to be conveyed through those literal meanings. So ityadi yato vacho nivartante, meaning that here these words mean the literal meaning, where the words cannot reveal the Atma by the vachyartha or literal meaning. Therefore, it is Acharya supposedly who enables me to be able to see beyond the word meaning as to what the Tatparya or the purport of these words is. Then says Anandagiri, Matahi tava Atma Vidya Bhutiti. Alright. So if you have not known the Atma, it doesn't matter. Matahi tava Atma Vidya Bhut. May you not have the knowledge of the self. Iti ashankya Shevak Nivritti Upayatvena Tadapeksham Suchayati. shoka nivritti upayatvena. But the only upaya, the only means of shoka nivritti, the freedom from grief is only Atma Jnanam. That much says Narada knows. That's the advantage of satsang. That's how you know. So the Swami says from pocket books and things like that, you somehow come to know this. So that's how sage Narada is known through satsanga. As the Chhandogya Upanishad, Kasmin Bhagava Vijñāte Sarva Vijñānam Bhavati. How did that question arise? This is what from the Vidvat, Samsad, Vidvat Sabha and all the discussions I have learned that there is something knowing which everything becomes known. So here I have heard from great people like you, that's what it said here. That I have recognized that my basic problem is grief. Shoka, moha, grief, delusion is my basic problem. The reason why the Bhagavad Gita is most appealing is because it directly touches this human problem of shoka and moha, grief and delusion. And it does not take for granted the Antakarana Shuddhi, it addresses the people, essentially a mumuksha. Mumuksha, of course, not a samsari. Bhagavad Gita also is not useful to a samsari who wants to get some samsaric gain. That's not possible. Bhagavad Gita also is for a mumuksha. Yash shreyasyat nishchitam brohitan me. That by which I can eat nishchitam shreya. That you tell me. So nishreyasa he wants, of course. Then only is no value for this universe and this world, the kingdom of this world and of heaven. He says, no value for that. But still the emotional problems still remain. Ham esham ete mama, I am theirs, they are mine. That remains. Call it asakti, attachment. So that remains. Further, all karma yoga and all of this is taught in the Bhagavad Gita. So, shoka nivritti upayatvena tad apeksham suchayate. This is an apeksha, the expectation, the need of Atma Jnanam, the self-knowledge is what? Shoka nivritti upayatvena. So that's why he wants to know Atma. So some people want, the desire for knowing Atma arises differently in different people. A Nachiketa also wants to know Atma because he wants to know the truth. Whereas says Narada wants to know Atma because he wants to become free from grief. And so, this is one unique case actually in the Upanishad, where a person approaches the teacher because of grief. In Kathopanishad we don't find that. Ishavasya, Kathopanishad, Kyanopanishad, Prashnopanishad, Mundakopanishad. We don't find the shoka being the cause for reaching the teacher. Nor 6th chapter, nor 8th chapter of the Chhandogya also. It's this chapter, 7th chapter. But this is all. Afterwards, no shoka is talked about, Purely knowledge is what is talked about. Because purely ignorance is the cause of grief, and therefore all you need is purely knowledge. So apparently, say Narada is ready for everything else. So Shrutam, therefore, the Bhashya says the line in page 300, or the Zitika also says, Nanu Atmavitva Bhavepi Upayantarana Shok Nivritti Bhavishyate iti Ashankya Uktam. Or maybe Sayyid Sanat Kumara says that your problem is shoka or grief, and that is possible. It is possible to become free from the grief by means other than self-knowledge also. To that, Sayyid Narada says here, Shrutam आगमज्ञानमस्त्येव हि यस्मात् मे मम भगवद्दृशेभ्यः युष्मत्सदृशेभ्यः तरते अतिक्रामते शोकं मनस्तापम् अकृतार्थबुद्धिताम् आत्मवित् इत्यतः। Shrutam hi, because I have heard. How did you hear? Agama jnanam asti. This is agama jnanam. With agamam, this param sampradaya says the Bhagavad Rishebhya Tadishokam Atmavidi agama jnanam sampradaya paramparaya jnanam yasmadasti. So this is the knowledge in the learned people. Agama jnanam, parampara praptam jnanam. So this is what we know by word of mouth from the teachers to the disciples. Sampradaya paramparaya jnanam yasmadasti. He means yasmad. Yasmadasti. Yasmad shrutam. Meaning yastat agama jnanam asti. Because there exists the traditional knowledge, this traditional understanding, or the understanding coming down from the wise. What is it? Tarati shokam atmayati bhavadrishebhyah. Coming down from great sages like you, yushmat sadrishebhyah. By the great sages such as you. And so that is why it becomes pramanam. Where does it come from? That is important. So agama also is pramanam. Not coming from any Tom, Dick and Harry, but coming from most venerable people, most reverential, learned people, trustworthy, learned, reverential. Their words carry a lot of weight. And so, he yasmat agama astyeva. In these circles of the learned people, this is a common knowledge that the knower of the self goes beyond the grief. Tasmat na upayantaram shoka nivritto sampadyate iti sheshaha. Therefore, shoka nivritto, for becoming free from grief, upayantaram na sampadyate. There is no other upaya. There is no upaya or means other than self-knowledge for shoka nivritti, for freedom from grief. So because this knowledge exists, or because this understanding is there, coming from the learned people, everybody knows. There is only one upaya, one means for shoka nivritti, that everybody knows. And what is it? Self-knowledge. Everybody knows means those are exposed to that sampradaya. Tardi atikramati goes beyond. Shokam manastapam. What is shoka? Manastapa. The suffering of the mind. So, the mental agony. That's what everybody has. Where does that agony come from? Akrutartha buddhitam. See, what a perception here. Akrutartha buddhitam. That I am akrutartha. I am not krutartha. I am not fulfilled. I am not satisfied with myself. I am not satisfied. So this sense of dissatisfaction with one's own self, that I have not really done what I should have done in life, I have not achieved what I should have achieved, I have not known what I should have known, I have not attained what I should have attained, that sense always remains in the background. And therefore, as long as that sense is there, that is what causes grief. So I am the cause of my own grief because I see myself as an inadequate person. Krutarthada, the sense of adequacy, that I am adequate, that I am all right as I am. If that sense is there, there is no grief. So shoka or the grief only arises from a sense of inadequacy about one's own self. That's what causes manasantapa. That's what causes the mental agony, grief, suffering, pain. Sakrutarthada buddhitam. Atmavit. So this is Vedanta's diagnosis of the cause of grief. So Vedanta says that the basic human problem is grief, shoka. That's how Shankaracharya says Bhagavad Gita addresses the basic human problem of shoka and moha, grief and delusion. Other acharyas may have different thing to say, by the way. Depends on what it is that human being needs. In what way Bhagavad Gita or Vedanta addresses that need. Accordingly, you will arrive at the tatparya, the purport of the text. So Bhashyakara's perception is that it is self-ignorance which causes a false notion about the self, causes the false notion or delusion, moha about the self, that I am inadequate. It is a sense of inadequacy which results into hanging on to something that can give me adequacy, or avoiding something that causes inadequacy. Inadequacy creates me the need for adequacy, and that's how ragadveshas and the whole things are generated. So that's how Vedanta sees. Therefore, all you need to do is to know that you are adequate. That's all. That's why knowledge is a solution to all the problems. If lack of love is looked upon as a problem, then that will be the solution. So, the only problem is the shoka or the grief. And that is arising from a sense of inadequacy about oneself, which is a delusion about oneself and not a reality about oneself. What is adequate? What is Brahman? What is Purna? What is complete? Itself is perceived as incomplete. So completeness or adequacy is not something to be acquired, not something to be created. It is something to be known. What is already there is to be known. Therefore, the famous rope snake example. What is rope is perceived as snake. Therefore, you don't have to remove the snake. Just to know that what is thought to be snake is nothing but rope. You don't have to create the rope. Don't have to convert the snake into rope. Then it will be karma, upasana, etc. But here, what is already rope is misperceived or misapprehended, in the words of Swamiji. Non-apprehension, misapprehension. Avarana Vikshava is translated this way. Very nicely, Non-apprehension, misapprehension. So misapprehension about the self. See, behind all this stuff, what is going on outside, of doing this and that and stuff like that, that basic thing is there. If it's not there, this has no meaning. That basic thing is there about what the truth is, what the self is, what the scriptures teach. If that is not there, merely all the external stuff doesn't work. So, the basis of all that effectiveness, whatever all that work is done, whatever is created, the basis is right there. And that is the knowledge about the self. That gives you that self-confidence which is there, which enables, the person to really assert himself It is not arrogance. That inner strength comes from the discovery of one's true nature. And that way doesn't mind if he doesn't know something, he doesn't care. Doesn't see the need of knowing anything else, then he can still push himself in anything, in any situation, without feeling disadvantaged in any way. Anyway, but as I said, this basic thing is there. About what Vedanta teaches, what the truth is. That's what Swamiji gained from Swami Tapovan Maharaj. From here he gained the inspiration about the seva. That all comes from here. So influence of two great people. From Swami Shivanandi, the inspiration about go and work, meditate and work. So meditation stuff and seva, this comes from here. And the knowledge comes from there. So that's why right away the knowledge has to be spread. Now that spreading business would never come from there. Chinmaya, don't chase karma, karma will chase you. So that would never come from there. Came from here. Because first thing he saw is that this Swami, who is a doctor, is serving a leper, serving a patient. So he is a person with heart, touches his heart. That's what made him the freedom fighter, which was a new thing to me anyway. I never knew that he was a freedom fighter and all that stuff. But anyway, although he went through whatever they showed, is totally unknown to me. I never heard of that. I don't know if it is true or not, but it must be true, I guess. Huh? Say pustakમાં કોઈ દિવસ જાણ્યું ને આટલા વર્ષો he never knew. Nobody knows. Nobody knows, And that means I never heard of this, that he was a freedom fighter, went through prison and stuff like that. This phase is maybe there because they are saying it. But so that comes from that desire to serve, desire to do something. And he must have found that these fellows, all spiritual people, are not doing that. And so that spirituality which does not come out as the service of the human beings is no good, no good. The book knowledge is throw away Shankar Bhashya, So people would be shocked. So what are you talking? But this is what it is. My people will go to the masses and spread this. Spreading knowledge is for what? To help them come out of this tamas, of the darkness. So this is so there is a combination here of the two things of Tapovan Maharaj and Swami Shivanandi, and he was the right person for that, because there were people who were with Shivanandi only, he never went there. Tapovan Maharaj, but here he had the it's a most amazing combination of the two Mahatmas, each one coming from different place. Both were wise people, and both were what they were. So at that time in the Uttarakhand, the three great people were most well known. One is Swami Tapovan Maharaj, Swami Shivanandi, Swami Vishnudevanandi of Kailas Ashram. So these were the great, vibhutis at that time. But as Swami didn't come in contact with Vishnudevanandi, but Tapovan Maharaj was there. And he needed that. Vishnudevanandi would not have worked for him. He only needed that one. Because whatever else was to be done there. So in this tremendous urge to do something, there were some other problems in there which needed to be resolved. Problems means what? That you should not go overboard. The basic achara must be there, the basic discipline must be there, all that must be there. And so the molding, came from there. Anyway, and that is how we had a product which was just, out of this world really. It's a rare, unique thing. Not an ordinary person. So glad that you brought out this and this comes out, to the people. Because we only see one dimension of him giving lectures. But the person, what he was, also has to be known properly. And so that is how the Acharyavan Purusha Veda, that's why he was stand there. Shivananda knew what he can get from here. For now he knew what he needed also. So then he was dispatched there to go there. So Acharyavan, that is how the recognition of the basic thing is there. Of what the human problem is sense of inadequacy. And what you need is the sense of fulfillment coming from self-adequacy. And that inadequacy is a delusion, a moha, not a reality. It's misapprehension. Coming from non-apprehension, avaranam, from ignorance. If this is the very basis, that is always there behind everything. In whatever other things are done, in all different sutras, what is undress and embrace and this and that and whatever. So all kinds of sutras were there in those days. When the last thought is thought, and the next thought is not arising, that's all. This is all the definition, the explanation of yoga, chitta vritti nirodha. So that was also there because of Shivananda. So in that you can see the influence of both the great people, So Shivananda, tremendous impact on him. Whatever, he may say, tremendous impact. Because that's what he was. He was such a great person, Thank God that he went there, not to anybody else. Otherwise he would have come out as the same person. He would have dismissed everybody. With the kind of commitment or the notion that he had gone to expose his people in whatever, if he had gone to anybody else, then you would not have found them adequate. But he went to the right place. See how destiny guides you all along. So are all people made out for something, So they are brought out to this world to accomplish certain purpose, and they are guided that way. To me, it's not important he was a freedom fighter and stuff like that. That's, maybe it was there. That he was an atheist, that I never knew. Because he was raised in a very religious family, and he said he used to meditate on Lord Shiva, etc., even in his childhood. So I didn't know he was atheist. It's all fashionable stuff, But anyway, so you don't have to be an atheist. You don't have to go to an ashram to expose anybody. He just went there to know what is what. But anyway, whatever it is, the thing is, he went to the right place. Somebody told him to go there. And then, of course, he went to the other right place. So, this was Ishvara's scheme that this thing happened. So, Tarti Shokam Atmavid, it is the akrutarthada buddhitam, akrutartha buddhitam. The sense of inadequacy, akrutarthoham. I'm not krutartha. I'm not fulfilled. I'm not satisfied with myself. I'm not all right. That's what makes a person very unhappy. All sorrow comes from that. And so, Shokam, this is what Atmavid, it is the knower of the person. Ataha yasmadana, therefore. So, Atmavid, the knower of the self, crosses grief in this manner because the grief arises from the self. You are the problem, you are the solution. The ignorant you, and you looking upon yourself inadequate person is the problem, and you discovering yourself to be adequate is the solution. And so the Bhashya says further, Soham anatmavitvat he bhagavah shocami akrutartha buddhya santapye sarvada tamma mam shokasya shokasagarasya param antam bhagavan tarayatu atmajnanodupena कृतार्थ बुद्धिम आपादयतु अभयम गमयतु इत्यर्थः सोहम शोचामि अनात्मवित्वात् एव शोचामि यस्मादिमतः अनात्मवित्वात् शोचामि. Since it is the sense of inadequacy about the self that's the cause of grief, and therefore knowing the self as adequate becomes the only answer to the grief. There is no cause for grief at all. Vedanta says, I am the cause. My perception about myself is the cause of grief. And therefore, what needs to happen is a change of perception about myself. And that is where Antakarana Shuddhi comes. That is where the cooperation of my own mind comes. Atma bhai atmano bandhu. That my mind should become my bandhu. It should become my beneficiary. That it cooperates in making me see that I am all right. Because the mind itself all the time resists. No, how can you be all right? The mind usually not ready to accept the fact that I am all right. So that mind becomes favorable. It says, yes, you are all right. That is why the Antakarana purification of mind, that is what is meant. And so, anatmavitvad bhagava shochami akranartha buddhya santyapya sarvada. It's not that I am grieving now and then, always grieving. Meaning that the undercurrent of grief is always there, all the time, because all the time I am aware of, because I am a self-conscious being, that's the problem. The problem of human being arises from being self-conscious. The other creatures do not have grief because they are not self-conscious. If they were self-conscious, they would have been miserable creatures. Then there will be no innocence in nature at all, then that would be a different thing. But in nature, there is no self-consciousness. That's called jada. Human being is self-consciousness. And therefore, conscious of himself. Which self? An inadequate self. Therefore, and I am always self-conscious because self is self-revealing. Therefore, there is always consciousness about the self. And that consciousness is, I am inadequate. So, sarvada shochami. I am always grieving. Constantly grieving. Santapye. So that manasa santapa, the mental suffering is always there. That's why I try to run away from myself by engaging myself in different activities to avoid myself, or to create some kind of intoxication by some kind of a mental experience of pleasure. So I intoxicate myself and that's how forget myself, or I engage myself in some activity to avoid myself. So human beings' constant endeavor is to self-avoid. That's called samsara. Trying to solve the problem of grief in a way which cannot be solved. By avoiding myself, I cannot solve the problem. By forgetting myself, also I cannot solve the problem. So two things I try to do: avoid myself or forget myself. Because, as our Swami used to say, the Shruti is always there. That drone. So when the singer is singing, behind him is the Shruti Tanpura, which drone is going on all the time. You don't hear it. When he sings a raga, they don't hear it. It's there. When the Ravan raga is complete and the gap before the other raga is started, then you can hear that. So when one desire is complete, other desire arises in between, there is a period of time. That's when you I want. So that is a wanting person. Basically what I want is a wanting person. A lacking person keeps on saying, I want. The Shruti is always sarvada santapya. Meaning that grief is always there in the background of everything that I do. Meaning that whatever I do is all done because of grief. Everything that I do is a result, is result of grief, originating from grieving itself. So what can I do? A grieving person only spreads grief. What else can he spread? Then I cause grief for others also. I am grieving, I cause grief for others also. That's what we can do. A grieving person spreads grief. The whole world is full of grief, that's all it is, Lokam shoka hatam cha samastam. So, whole world is what shoka hatam. Is only in the influence of shoka or the grief. Vidya vyadhi vimana grastam. Lokam shoka hatam cha samastam. Vyadhi abhimana grastam. What perception, So, vidhi vyadhi abhimana. That's all that is, the world is vyadhi and abhimana. Shoka hatam ja samasta. So it says santapye sarvada. Had it been an occasional thing, then you could have said, all right. If grief came now and then, but this doesn't leave me. I just can't get rid of that. Tam mamam shokasya shokasagarasya param antam. Grief is what? Shokasagara. It is ocean of grief. Param antam, may you take me, may enable me to go to the other end of this ocean. Bhagavan tarayatu, may the Lord, the Venerable Sir, tarayatu, enable me, make me cross, make me reach the other shore of the ocean of grief. How? Atmajnana udupena. So, udupena atmajnanakyena plavena iti avada. Abhichedasi papebhya sarvabhya papakrittamah sarvam jnanaplavena vrujinam santarishyasi. So, jnanaplavena, by the plava, means by the boat or the raft actually of the knowledge, enable me to cross this ocean of grief. Atmajnana udupena kritartha buddhim apadayatu. So what is meant by enable me to cross the grief? Kritartha buddhim apadayatu. Or kritarthata buddhim. That I am kritartha. That buddhi or this knowledge, this sense. Call it experience, call it knowledge, call it whatever you want, but then therefore this feeling or this discovery on my part that kritarthaham, that I am adequate. Apadayatu, gamayatu, so abhayam gamayatu. So this grief is causing all kinds of insecurity and fear in me. That's the same thing. You call it grief, call it fear, call it insecurity, call it what? So therefore abhayam pradishtham, in the way you call it so, abhayam vai janaka praptosi. So sometimes abhaya. So call it fear, call it grief. Abhayam gamayatu. So this is how sage Narada appealed or presented himself to Sage Sanat Kumara. Then the Bhashya says further, Tam evamuktavantam hovacha advai kincha etat adyagishthaha adhitavanasi adhyanena tadarthajnana upalakshate ज्ञातवान असि इत्येतत् नामैवैतत् वाचारम्भणं विकारो नामधेयम् इति श्रुतेः. Tam, to him, to sage Narada, evam uktavantam. Sage Narada, who expressed himself in this manner, soham bhagava shochami, that I am grieving not only shochami, tam ma bhagavan shokasya param taradu iti, that may the Venerable Sir please enable me to go beyond the ocean of grief. So I am grieving and I have come here with this trust that you will be able to do you'll be able to give me what I need or help me with what I need. That shows his Shraddha. So Tanma Bhagavan Shokasya Param Taredu. When will you say that? Please enable me to go beyond this grief. I know that you can. Bhagavad Drushebhya. From great sages like you I have heard. Who are those great sages? Those who are Atmavid, those themselves are the knowers of the self. So from the wise people like you, I have heard. So those who have the knowledge of the self, from there I have heard. Because who else can say that the knower of the self goes beyond grief can be said by the one who has gone beyond the grief, by the one who has known the self. So Bhagavad Drushebhya, from great sages like you, who are wise people, who are the knowers of the self, from them I have heard. So it is trustworthy. So Bhavad Drushebhya means what? I know that you are one of those. And therefore, so not only you cross the grief, but then you are a Acharya, so will enable me to cross the grief. So Shrotriyam and Brahmanishtam. So one who knows the self is Brahmanishta. One who can help others to cross is cross Shrotriya. That's how you have to understand. Tirna swayam bhimavajanam janan ahetunanyan apitarayanti. Tirna swayam bhima bhavaranavam. This most terrible ocean of grief, those who have crossed. Ahetunanyan apitarayanti. And help others also cross. So that is an Acharya. So Acharya sthapayatyapi swayam acharya yasmat. So one who himself practices it or abides in it and helps others also to do the same thing. Therefore Bhagavan tarayatu, Bhagavan means please help me do that. Tam eva muktavantam. So here is a Jignasu who not only needs the knowledge but who is also shown the Shraddha, shown the trust that I am in the place where I'll be able to accomplish what I want, that my need will be fulfilled here. So now, when the teacher sees a disciple like that, so not only he wants to know, but also is sure that he will get the knowledge here. He is a place where the knowledge will come. Otherwise you want to know that he is an interest, all right, fine, you go there. But no, I know that I come to the right place. Sam tem eva muktavantam. Sage Narada, who was saying in this manner, Hovacha, to him, sage Sanat Kumara said, Yadvaikinchedat adhyagishtaha. Hey Narada, whatever it is that you have studied, adhitavanasi. Adhyana means smaranam, knowing, reading. But yes, studying, whatever you have studied. So adhyana tadartha jnana upalakshate. Because it is it is expected when it said that, so one should study the Vedas of one own branch, Svadhyaya Adhyetavya. One should study the Veda of one's own branch. It is expected that he must also know the meaning of the Vedas. So first, the Vedic teacher will ask him, make him memorize the whole text and then explain the meaning of the text. So along with that, grammar also is taught, Vedanga are also taught, and then the meaning also is taught. So it is understood that not only sage Narada can recite this text, Adhyayana means reciting, but then he also knows the meaning of what he recites. What meaning? The textual meaning. So in our language, Vachyartha he knows. Adhyayana tadartha jnanam upalakshate. Therefore, Jnatavanasi. So, Adhitavanasi means what? Jnatavanasi. Not only something that you have recited, but something of which you also know the meaning. So, I know that you know the meaning. Nama eva etata is only nothing but Nama, means it's word. Nama means word here. That's all you know. No, you know the words. Katham madhyam artha jnanam sura namamatram iti ashankya. It's only in name. Madhyam artha jnanam, I know the meaning of all the texts. How do you say I just know no words? Vacharambanam vikaro namdem iti shrute. Because you know the meaning as vikara. So Bhashyakara is karma karyam vikara. So whatever is the effect of karma, that's why the second Tikakara said karma also means the object. So karma karya means that knowing anything is an object. So these texts reveal both object and the subject. So you know the object part. What the objects these texts all reveal that you know, and that's all vikara. And therefore it is mithya. So you know only the mithya aspect of all what these texts reveal. So vacharambhanam, vagarambhanam, only hanging on the speech, originating from the speech. Speech here means the words, originating from the words, as good as the words, that's all. And therefore call it nama, call it word. Nama eva, that's all you know are the words, that's all you know. That's a very bold statement, to be told to say Narada who knows everything. And this teacher says, hey, you just know the names. So that shows his strength, that where he is coming from. So, young man, see me tomorrow evening. I am busy, see me tomorrow evening, that's all. And so, he also saw him, otherwise he was gone from sales somewhere else, he may have gone, I don't want to see you. But then here he stayed to see him the next evening, and then stayed and stayed and stayed. So, that's why he says, Nama eva etata. This is all name, that's all it is. Now, the Tikakara, Narayanendra, Abhinava Narayana says, in the line number 32, Adhyagishtaha Nama eva etadyatra ekam nama padam. So the word nama arises in several places, more than once. Yad vaikinchit adhyagishtaha nama eva etata. So word nama is used once there, first time. When you go to the next passage, nama va rugvedaha, word nama comes again there. And in the end of this fourth passage, nama eva etata, again the word nama comes third time, So looks like word nama is repeated and repeated. Is it punarukti? So this Tikakara explains that. Adhyagishtaha nama eva etatra ekam nama padam. So word nama is first time occurs here, nama eva etat. Nama vai rugvedaha. the beginning of next passage, Namavai Rugveda, word Nama again occurs second time. Same Nama, Atharvaveda, Yajurveda means the Nama occurs. So anyway, they don't use the word Nama again. So Namavai Rugvedas. Then Sarpadeva Vidya at the end, Nama eva etata at the end of the fourth passage. Idi Trutiyam Nama Padam Vartate. Thus the word Nama or the Padash word Nama appears here 3 times. Idi Trayanam Apunuruktartatvam Aha. These 3 words do not mean the same thing. This word Nama is used 3 times in a slightly different sense. Therefore, it is not Punarukti. So, Punarukti or repetition in terms of word is there, but not in terms of meaning. And therefore, it is not just called Punarukti. So, therefore, Adhyayana tadarthajnanam upalakshate. So, here word Nama eva etata means arthajnanam. So, tatascha prathamena namapadena Rugvedadi arthasya so arthajnanam upalakshate. Na vyatarekena vastuta abhavat mithyatvam pratipadyate vacharambanam vikaro namadhyam means mithya. So, nama eva etat when it is said, prathamena namapadena Rugvedadi arthasya, so Rugveda, Yajurveda, all of that you know the artha or the meaning also. Na vyatarekena vastu abhavat, that meaning that you know is no more than the word. It is word and the meaning. So meaning always associated with the word Nama and the Artha. So Pada and Artha, they always go together. When Pada is there, Artha is there, Artha is there, Pada is there. Therefore, they cannot be separated. They are one only. So the Artha that you know is no more than what the Nama or word can reveal. So the Artha that you know is nothing but word. Only when you know Lakshyata, it is something different from the word. That's why it was said that Mantre Devasmi, you know the word meaning, which is the same reality as a Nama, and word is Vikara, so that also is Vikara. But when you know Lakshyartha, then it doesn't have the same reality. This is Mithya, and that is Satyam. So through Mithya you have to know Satyam. Therefore, Tad Vyatirekena Abhamatram Uchyate. The Rugveda, the Artha, that meaning is not different from the name. Meaning does not exist in absence of name. Abhava matrena. Mithyatvam pratipadyate. So the Artha, which does not exist separate from the word, is mithya because it does not have an independent existence. The Artha, the meaning, is totally dependent upon the word, therefore it is mithya. So whatever enjoys a relative reality is mithya. So why did it say Vaira? So why was it said Namaya Veda? That's all you know. So giving him a shock or what? Just Vairagyartham. So just let it go. So whatever is the meaning of these words is all Trigunya. The whole samsara is the meaning of these words, Rugveda, etc., is all mithya. For what? Therefore don't hang on to that, just let it go. So Vairagyartham. So thus there is a great purpose behind what Sanat Kumara says, Namaya Vaita, is that it is mithya, which is what? To be let go. So whatever the words, the meaning, word meaning is there, which is the whole creation. So the whole universe is created from the Veda. So all the Artha is created from the Shabda or Pada. And so that Nama and Rupa has no reality apart from name, Rupa has no reality more than the name, and name itself is perishable, so Rupa also is perishable. It's all perishable. And that's the cause of grief. So Vikara is the cause of grief, therefore Vikara has to be dropped. So Vairagyartham. That can be one meaning. Yadva prathamena namapadena tadarthasya tadvitirekena abhavamatram uchyat, or mithyatvam is not said. All you can say that, all it means is that nama eva etat, meaning that the meaning has no existence apart from the word. So That's all. That much is said by the first word nama. Artham hitva tasya upasatvaya na vyatirekena artho nama nasti artha sarvapi nama eva tast. Therefore, there is nothing separate from nama. So, don't go into the satya mithya thing. Artham is a meaning, is not separate from the word. Therefore, don't worry about the meaning. When you hang on to word, the meaning comes along with it. Therefore, meditate upon the word. That's enough. The meaning will come because the meaning does not exist apart from the word. So, tad vyatirekena abhava matram uchyate. That the artha, the meaning, has no existence apart from the word. Therefore, artham hitva. Therefore, you need not worry about the meaning. Tasya upasatvaya. So, we only concentrate upon nama or the word. That's enough. The word, therefore, even when you recite Om Namah Shivaya, just concentrate on the word. Because the meaning is included in the word. Therefore, upasana is of the nama. So that's why all the Hari Nama is given to us for upasana. That is Rig Veda, Yajurveda is okay. Then later on it was made more sweet, Why? The Nama is what? Rama, Rama, Krishna, Hari, etc. So Nama Artham Hitva Tasyeva Upasatvaya. So that Artha is does not contribute anything more than Nama. Therefore, focus your attention on Nama. So meditate upon Nama as Brahma. So Nama Vyatirekana Artho Nama Nasti Artha Saropi Nama Eva. All meaning is included in the word. Therefore, Ata Tasmin Upasite Sopi Upasita Heti. Therefore, when you meditate on the name, the meaning is already meditated upon. Iti Namaya Upasyamiti. Therefore, as far as meditation is concerned, name alone is enough, nama is enough, the meaning, don't have to separately meditate upon the meaning. That could be the meaning here. So, Dvitiyena, so nama va Rugvedaha, Dvitiyena, Rugadinam, Prasidhya, Namatmakatvam, Shabdatmakatvam, tu sadhyate, natu mithyatvam. So, where is this nama? Say Rugveda. So first, whatever you know is name, so meditate, many means to meditate. What is that name? Rugveda, etc. So Rugadinam Prasidhya Namatmakatvam. So Rugveda is known as Shabdatmaka, the nature of Shabda, which is Nama. So that's what the second word Nama means. That you meditate, first word Nama means meditate upon Nama. Which is the Nama? Rugveda, etc. is that Nama. So, mithyatvam na sadhyate. This word nama is not meant to suggest the mithyatvam, but here for the purpose of upasana. Tathatve vakshimana brahma parikatva anupattehe. If nama is mithya, then it cannot become the pratika of a Brahma. So, mithyatvam is not the intention here. That nama, Rugveda, etc. means first is meditate on Nama. What is it? Rugveda, etc. is Nama. So meditate upon them as Brahma. Trutiyena Rugadena Namatvam Uktam Upasamriyate. So Nama eva etata. The Rugveda, Yajurveda is Nama. All of this is Nama. So Upasamhara. They have a conclusion. So therefore Upasamhara is not Punarukti. Upakrama and Upasamhara. Upasamhara also is in keeping the Upakrama. So you repeat what you said in the beginning is not Punarukti, it is Upasamhara, conclusion. Upasana Vidhanartham. So Namayeva Upasvaiti. For enjoying the Upasana, therefore it is concluded here that all of this is name. It is not Punarukti. Therefore, even the word Nama is employed 3 times, is not Punarukti, is not repetition, doesn't mean the same thing. It conveys something different in each case. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।